What's up everybody, my name's Big Cam and welcome back to another trailer breakdown and reaction. And today we are talking about the new Tom Cruise film from director Alejandro Iñárritu, and this movie's called Digger. And it has been hyped up quite a bit for like the last 6 months. I kept hearing about Digger and we kept seeing a shovel and kept hearing that Tom Cruise is returning back to like an almost Rex Grossman, like from I believe Tropic Thunder is where that's from, and he's trying to do something a little bit more comedic, you know, something a little bit less stunt heavy like the Mission Impossible movies. So, you know, he's got a couple of the movies in mind that he wants to make, and Digger here was one of them. And it seems this film is shot in VistaVision and it's gonna be in theaters October 2nd, and I was just like shocked to see what this film actually is somewhat about, right? Like, even from this trailer, I'm still not quite sure what this is about, but just to see more of the cast and just more of the people that are around Tom Cruise who's playing this Digger character and what this Digger character is. And it looks really funny, you know what I mean? And it looks like Tom Cruise is going to be in rare form, so I'm really looking forward to seeing this in theaters now. You know, I previously wasn't hype on this at all, but after seeing this trailer, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to see Tom Cruise be Digger now, you know? As much as I want to see him be Digger, though, I also want to see him go make another Mission Impossible movie. But, you know, this is just a checklist, a box to check off on the old Tom Cruise list of things that he wants to do now that he's getting up there in age, you know, but he's still making movies, so shout out Tom Cruise. But let's jump on into this trailer and see what we notice, because this shit looks like it's gonna be crazy.
Everything changes, you know. One day you're a cat. Just take a little taste for daddy. Come on, sweetheart. Or a king. Next day you're just ashes in a box. How long would you say she has?
Between 2 weeks, 5 minutes.
A new film from Alejandro G. Iñárritu. But yeah, so Tom Cruise's Digger character we see here, you know, in the Warner Brothers logo, looks like it's underwater or something. But this is a legendary film, and it looks like Tom Cruise's character here is some type of cowboy-esque type of guy. You know, he's got cowboy hats and this big walk-in closet, cowboy boots all over the place, and you know, he seems to be getting ready for the day. But you know, also Tom Cruise is not a fat guy, right? So he's in a full fat suit, body prosthetics, face prosthetics, you know, like this is a very different look for Tom Cruise than we're normally used to, unless he got, you know, practically fat, but I don't see that in Tom Cruise's type of time, you know what I mean? But like, you know, it seems like he's got this cat, and this cat he's trying to feed something, but like he eats it himself, and this poor cat that's with him, it looks like this cat's just like dying, and he's some type of hunter, as he has a painting of a lion, you know, scratching a goat. He's got a mirror with a bunch of deer antlers all around it. He's got a polar bear fur on the ground, and then he asked this like in-house doctor, like, all right, what do you think this cat, how long's this cat got? And he goes, 2 weeks, 5 minutes. And they both kind of look at each other like, 5 minutes? This cat could die any second? You know, like, yeah, I think that cat is already dead, and he's just like crutching it along at this point, just firing steroids into it just to keep it alive. I don't know. But on to the next portion of this trailer.
Mr. Rockwell, my name is Sandy Clarkson.
Yeah, Sandy. How you been, buddy? You're the man with the 5-foot crab. Now, glacier over there in Greenland, it shifts 5 feet. Now, this desk in front of me is bigger than 5 feet.
Mr. Rockwell,
my dick is a tenth of that size. What do you want me to shut down a $1 billion platform over something that's 10 times the size of my dick?
I don't believe you understand what's happening, sir.
What did you just say?
Sorry, sir.
Well, I know perfectly well what's going on there, because I'm paying for the whole thing. I'm paying for your fucking 90% Hungarian goose down winter jacket. I'm paying your salary. You want to shut her down?
Well,
say it!
Tom Cruise is yelling at one of his employees here over a video call, and it seems like there's a big old problem with the iceberg down in Antarctica or something. But you know, Digger has this guy whose last name is Rockwell, who that might be like a Sam Rockwell nod, but either way, I was just like dying like the whole time throughout this video. Though you can see the little cat box behind him. It's like this luxury cat box, and that poor cat's just laying in there. looking like he's real dead, but also like he spins the computer around at the beginning of that clip, and he's like at this little table spinning around this computer around this like globe that's in the center of the table, and he's like, I know what's going on. You're telling me the glacier shifted 5 feet? The table in front of me is 5 feet. My pecker's about 1/10 of that size. You're telling me it's 10 times the size of my dick? It's just like, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but apparently Digger has a 5-inch penis. Okay. But, you know, he's like, I know what's going on here. And the guy's like, I don't think you do, as he shows him like a footage of them like drilling into the ice, and then a giant like fireball comes bursting out of it, which is just kind of shocking to him. Like, whoa, what's going on there? And then we see like this giant ice wall crater thing, which has to be like a giant iceberg or something that's moving along, or a glacier. But it seems that Digger here is paying for this whole operation, even though he doesn't know what's going on down there, and he's getting this call to shut things down because it seems dangerous. And fire's coming out of the ice and shit. And he's like, you don't know what's going on. Shut it down. He goes, you want me to shut it down? Shut it down. I'm paying for everything. I pay for your jacket, goddammit. You know, so maybe he was warned to shut this down, and because he didn't, maybe that's why there's this problem with this iceberg in this film. I don't know. But on to the next portion of this clip.
Mr. President, we're utterly unprotected against a disaster of this magnitude.
What's our worst case scenario?
$18 trillion, sir.
Is that all the bad fucking news?
Oh, there's the nuclear waste, too.
This October, it seems like John Goodman's the president. That's just a funny clip. Like, in the cinematography in this trailer, it looks pretty damn good too. And like the shots from below of like these really old men around this table and the president, John Goodman. And, you know, he's looking at, it looks like a tsunami on the news, and it says breaking nuclear plants damaged by tsunami. You know, so there's now nuclear waste from this tsunami, and maybe this tsunami looks like it's being caused by this iceberg, and maybe this iceberg is about to run into Norway. He's like, how much is this going to cost? He's like, $12 trillion. He's like, is that all of the problems? And they're like, well, you didn't tell him about the nuclear waste. And then at the end of that clip, it looks like they're watching something in this room, and he's like, oh, fuck. And then everyone's like, oh, shit. It looked like maybe they fired up a jet engine in there, or maybe everyone's just shocked from what's on the screen, so they're all just kind of like, oh, God. But another little interesting detail from the shot that I noticed was that John Goodman's in a wheelchair, so the president is in a wheelchair in this movie for some reason, and it's played by John Goodman, which is hilarious. But I think that guy in the yellow shirt with glasses is maybe Riz Ahmed. You know, it just doesn't really look like him, or maybe I just haven't seen him with just a mustache and this like old style suit. But whatever they're seeing on that screen is certainly very loud, because they're all holding their ears and blocking their ears, and Tom Cruise is like, God damn it, this is loud! But this October, I guess we'll find out what is so loud in Digger. But on to the next portion of this trailer.
Digger here got us into this mess, and Digger's gonna dig us out again.
Well, let's fucking go.
Long before the rest of us.
That is why it is your problem. If we can't control the course of nature, at least we can control the nerves.
But it happened.
Mother Nature, she loved to win.
You're gonna save the world.
Ah, fellas, Mother Nature wants to fight.
Was he okay?
Mr. President.
Mr. President?
Fuck this iceberg, let's dash!
So it looks like he's got to dig or die. And like, you know, there's Tom Cruise being all fancy. He's got his cowboy boots and he's stepping on like a glacier. He's dragging his shovel across the ground. He's dancing with his shovel. He's pulling it off the wall. This woman that he's with, it looks like. But Digger's got us into this mess, and Digger's gonna get us out of it. He's standing on a railing with that digger shovel, and he's got like this beautiful sunset in the background. I was like, where is this? And like, wow, this beautiful cinematography in this movie. But he's like, let's fucking go. That poor cat looks like it's gonna die any second. But, you know, he's gonna be dancing, he's gonna be doing his thing. And he's at a big press conference. He's like, Mother Nature, she loves a winner, you know? And he's like, if we can't control nature, we'll control the narrative, you know? Like, and he's like, this is all your fault, you know? Like, dig or die, baby. maybe. He's dancing there with that woman, and maybe that's his wife or something, but, you know, or maybe his partner in this company. But they have, like, you know, stealth bombers and shit as they're pulling up. Jesse Plemons is in this movie. I didn't know he was in this movie either. Looks like Digger's burning some shit. He's giving this big speech. He's got tape around his pinky finger, so maybe somebody tried to cut off his finger. Maybe he tried to cut off his own finger. I don't know, but, you know, it seems like they're going to be, you know, the same iceberg is going to be heading for Alaska. They're going to be trying to, like, avoid the problems and whatnot. He's, like, smacking the hell out of somebody. Looks like he's diving headfirst off that railing. He's falling in the water. He's doing splits. You know, he's being Tom Cruise, even though he's in a fat suit and prosthetics. But it looks like they're going to drop a nuke on this iceberg, and the nuke says, "Suck it, nature." And right as they're about to drop the nuke, it looks like friggin' John Goodman's character kind of freezes. Maybe he's just like, you know, it's middle of having a heart attack or something, or maybe he's just that old, and he smacks the back of him, and he's like, "Alright, fuck that iceberg," and they drop the nuke, and Tom Cruise's Digger's watching it, he's just like, "Oh, fuck." It's just a crazy, crazy trailer that we're watching right now, but on to the final portion of this trailer. Let's wrap this bad boy up.
Perfectly shaped story.
They already know the story.
They know the facts. The story is yet to be told.
When all else fails, you hit him with the truth. You know, the hard truth. Just bang, bang, bang. Woo! Woo!
Yeah, that feels good, doesn't it? That's my girl.
Oh, Tom Cruise. At the end there, that cat is totally dead. He's like bathing the cat in the sink. That cat is totally dead. But Tom Cruise, Riz Ahmed, Jonathan Goodman, Sandra Hüller, Michael Stuhlbarg, Jesse Plemons, you know, like that's a pretty damn good fucking cast. I don't know if we saw Michael Stuhlbarg in that trailer there, but I think Sandra Hüller was there. I believe Sandra Hüller was also in Project Hail Mary, if I'm thinking of, it's the same woman. But yeah, like at the end of that trailer there, it looks like, yeah, Tom Cruise is maybe looking a little Einstein-y, a little strung out. Maybe he's like tucked in a bunker somewhere. It looks like these guys are all in a red room with like a white horse or Pegasus or something walking around them. I'm not sure what that's about. You know, he's got rosary beads in his hand. He's like praying with this white light to his face. He's like, "I see Jesus." You know, it looks like he's giving, like, that same room there was like a press conference. It looks like a big brawl breaks out. And Riz Ahmed's character's like, "We know the story." He goes, "No, they know the facts. The story is yet to be told." And it's like, so he's gonna try and spin something, you know, for himself here as they're like riding on some type of private jet. This looks like some type of funeral or like something with like a little pool out back, and it's all on fire. You know, he's standing on a table with a shovel as he's spinning a globe, and he looks like he's smacking somebody with that shovel. And it seems like he's trying to hype himself up, and he's like, "You know, when all else fails, you hit him with the truth, the hard truth." And he like, almost like he has a revolver in his hand, and he goes, "The hard truth, bang, 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 bang." You know, like, and then he kind of does like a little thing, like he's flipping the gun around. He like puts it in the holster and he goes, "Woo!" You know, like, oh god, Tom Cruise is Digger. And yeah, the little Digger mantra logo, whatever, right before we cut to him friggin' bathing this cat, and this cat is dead. As far as I'm concerned, it's dead. It's not alive anymore. He's just, like, the way it slumps over, like that cat's dying right here in his hand. Like, oh my goodness. But in theaters October 26th, it said October 2nd on the poster, but October 26th or October 2026, so maybe it is October 2nd of this year, but shot on VistaVision, experienced it in IMAX. Yeah, I think VistaVision, is, I could be wrong, but I believe it's a camera that shoots in a different direction. Like, say most film cameras shoot like this and the film gets fed in, you know, from the top or something. I don't know. I'm not a film guy. I don't film stuff. But either way, say that the IMAX camera works one way. I think the VistaVision camera shoots like a different angle, and then the film comes in a different directions, but it was like a really old style camera that they used to film stuff on. And I believe like old Bond films used to be filmed on VistaVision, and they look really beautiful, but the formatting of the actual film was something that people never wanted to use for some reason. But it looks like these filmmakers are getting back to using some of that old stuff, and I think it looks really good. Like, this whole trailer looked phenomenal, even though I really don't understand what's happening or what this movie is, but at least I have a better understanding of like what could be happening here and what Tom Cruise looks like as Digger, the rest of the cast, you know, Riz Ahmed, John Goodman being the president, Sandra Hüller being in there, Michael Stuhlbarg, Jesse Plemons, you know, those actors get me a little bit more excited to see this film as well, being great character actors. And then I don't know if I've seen any of the Alejandro Iñárritu films, but it seemed like he had 4 other people that helped him write this film, and then he himself directed it, and I'm sure Tom Cruise was working alongside him very closely. You know, Tom Cruise isn't just quite the actor anymore that he used to be, you know, like he's now at a point where he's producing things, he's starring in it, and then he's like a part of the writing, and he's a part of the directing, and he's like he's a part of making the films that he's in more than I'd say any other actor in the industry at this point, you know, like unless they're directing themselves, you know, like that's the only other people that would be more involved in the films that they're making, you know what I mean? But like as far as Mission Impossible goes, like Tom Cruise and his director have their hands all over that film, and it is so evident, you know, and it feels very much so that Tom Cruise and Alejandro Iñárritu have their hands all over this film. And it just like seems like an original idea. It just seems wild. It seems different, which is what we kind of need in this world, you know, like individual films with great movie stars that are different, original ideas. You know, it doesn't look like anything we've seen in the past or seen before, you know. So I'm into this. Comment below your thoughts on Digger. If you know anything more about the film than I do, comment those down below. But just from this trailer, I'd love to know your thoughts about it. Are you more excited than you were for this movie? Are you less excited? I don't know. Maybe you're thinking the same as me. Maybe you're thinking completely differently, and that's completely fine as well. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this trailer and maybe details that you noticed that I didn't talk about. But please leave your comments and thoughts down in the comment section below, or you can send those to my other social medias, links for those in the description below. And if you've made it this far into the video and you would like to support the channel further, the best way of doing that is smashing the like button, commenting down below, subscribing if you haven't already, and hit that bell so you don't miss future trailer breakdowns and reactions, and you'll get the notifications when those come out. Once again, my name's Big Cam, and I'll see you gorgeous folks in the next video. Peace!